Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Tim and Darren with you here today. We are targeting winners, a special Thursday edition of Hurricane Helene here in Florida. So we're coming at you a day early. We haven't had much luck with the weather lately. So get this out of the way because I'm sure tomorrow I won't have any power. And good thing there's only one game tonight. Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Stay safe down there.
That'll be fine.
Every single hurricane that they mentioned seems to pass right through your backyard. So
yeah, well, it's only a Category 3 so far. So
that's nothing to you guys down there.
I don't even get out of bed for a Category 1 or a Category 2. So
you still sit on the front porch with a beer and just watch it go by. That's fair.
No, Category 3 depends on when it hits. If it says, it's going to hit at 3 p.m., if I'm up at 8, I'll be like, I'll sleep for a few more hours. I'll get up and move some plants in. Other than that, Category 4 is when you start to worry a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a seasoned veteran of the hurricanes. All types, because I'm betting them again. We'll get to that shortly.
So what you're saying is the U is back.
That's what I always say.
That's it's tattooed on your back. Someone told me that.
See, I have to listen to them every time they win because they've been absolute trash for the last almost quarter of a century. So it's just like, shut up.
Yeah.
So why couldn't Florida beat them?
Florida's not very good.
Yeah, they're not. So, we're missing Pete. He's in Europe with his cat still. He'll be back next week with us. So, let's just jump right into our first pick there. We'll start with one of yours here. Let's go with
sure. Perfect.
Washington and Rutgers.
Yes, Friday night special. Okay, so we had talked earlier on when we did our Big Ten preview about some of the travel that some of these new teams, your Stanfords, your USCs, your UCLAs, and your Washingtons will be making this season. Washington has played 4 games already. They're 3-1. They have not left Washington at all. The Apple Cup was played in Seattle, and then they had 3 home games. So this is their first trip even just out of the state. So short week, traveling all the way across the country, facing a team in Rutgers that actually looks legit. And I had a flashback to when Ray came on for his one preseason appearance and said that Rutgers win total, he was betting the over. And he's looking pretty smart with that play right there. Minnesota transfer Athlon Kaliakamanis. Probably pronounced that wrong, but he's not listening anyway.
You most definitely are.
Oh, without a doubt. Having a great start to the year, 6-to-1 TD to pick ratio. He's actually given Rutgers some form of an offense, but their main offensive piece is Kyle Monangai, the running back, or Monangai. Some probably pronouncing that wrong as well. Averaging about 150 yards a game. This team's averaging 39 points a game. Rutgers used to not get 39 points in 3 games put together. So it just feels like there's something different about this team here. Haven't been super impressed with Washington. I did watch a lot of the Northwestern game last week. They had some issues finishing some drives. They could have put up a lot more points there. Will Rogers, though, is playing really well for them. But I just think the short week, the travel, everything I've read, Rutgers is jacked for this game. I mean, the fan base is nuts. It's a Friday night game, national television. They should be ready to roll. This spread's only 2.5. It may hit 3 by game time. So if you can find the 2.5, shop around and grab that. But I got a 1-unit play Friday night, Rutgers laying 2.5 over Washington.
Yeah. They beat my disappointment of the week last week with Virginia Tech. They almost came back there. They almost gave it up to Virginia Tech to win there, that is. But boy, Virginia Tech looked terrible. That was a one game I thought was, So speaking of Virginia Tech, and speaking of the team I can't stand,
as I'm picturing my feet that go down the toilet before the season, the ACC season even starts. Yeah, let's go with this one.
Yeah, let's get this one out of the way because I can't stand these guys. So this is one of my bets. I am betting Miami on this one to cover. I think they're giving 20. Is that the line? 20.5, I believe.
You got 20. Yeah, you got 20. I think drafts, there are still a couple 19.5s out there, but I think where you are, 20 is what you got.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right now, like I said, Virginia Tech is not playing very well. They're -1 in the turnover ratio, but it could be a lot worse. They've already fumbled 6 times. Running backs are having trouble keeping the ball. On their tackle statistics, Kyron Jones is actually makes their defensive tackles, and that's never a good thing. They give up a lot of sacks. Miami has 16 sacks already this year. On the road Friday night, that's tomorrow game at Miami. Tall order for any team, let alone a team that is not blocking very well for a quarterback. Virginia Tech is a very quarterback, like he's either running or they rarely, I think he has just as many running attempts as some of the running backs on the team. He doesn't stay in the pocket very long, and then he tries to run. Miami's got plenty of speed on the defense. They can track him down. I just don't think they ever get anything going. Miami's, I think, +6 with the turnover ratio. They get after the ball. God damn it, they look so good.
I can feel the pain in your voice, man.
I mean, not even Mario Cristobal could ruin this for me. So I mean, it's terrible. I don't think he can. They're going to be good in spite of him and all of his horrible coaching. So I got Miami.
Yeah, as much as it pains me, being that I have a futures bet on Virginia Tech to win the ACC, this was the one game I thought for sure they were going to lose. This game opened at 14.5 and shot all the way up to 19.5 or 20. And that kind of tells you what everybody seems to think of Miami and Virginia Tech at this point. But a question for you, since this is a home game for Miami, is the weather possibly impacting this at all?
I think it's a very large storm, but it's moving pretty quick. So, Like I said, it's Thursday. By Saturday, they said it's going to be over Louisville. So, it's moving pretty quick. That's not to go all weather nerd, but that's, and right now it's a category 3. It's a lot of wind, a lot of rain. It should be past. They'll probably be in the bottom band of it.
Okay.
Down in Miami, maybe some wind, some rain.
Yeah, curious for those totals players. I didn't look at this game at all. I don't know what the total is, but definitely check the weather before you factor out under there.
Follow Jim Cantori on Twitter. See what he says. I don't see the game being canceled.
No, I don't think it'll be canceled either. I'm just, sometimes weather's a great equalizer, and I'm just pulling strings here, hoping for something. But
is that his name, Jim, or is it John?
I think it's Jim. I don't know. He's probably right out on your street.
We're not in a direct path. Like I said, it's so big. It's been raining and windy all day here. So, but the weather's been nice. It's been like 75. So that's, you don't walk out and instantly start sweating. So that's always a good thing. The positive, the silver lining of a hurricane. So, but yes, Miami -20. Unfortunately,
pains me to agree with you, but until Virginia Tech does anything,
exactly, show me something.
Exactly, should be the name of our show. Show me
something. God damn it! Well, let's move on to another one of yours here, Darren. One of our old buddies.
Oh, speaking of showing me something, yeah. So I unfortunately suffered through actually watching an Old Dominion University game earlier this year because I thought a couple weeks ago taking them plus 1.5 at home against East Carolina was a good idea. And despite East Carolina's best efforts to continually turn the ball over and give Old Dominion multiple opportunities to score, Old Dominion just could not. This offense is terrible. 50 points in 3 games. They've punted 23 times already this season. That's like 8 times a game. Who does that? Old Dominion, obviously. But besides fading Old Dominion's offense, I really like Bowling Green. I mean, I get that they're 1-2, but those 2 losses last week at Texas A&M, they only lost by 6. And then the week before at Penn State, when they were actually ahead for a while before losing only by 7. So despite the record, this team is playing some really good football, hanging with some of the big boys on the road here. So I think there's probably just some frustration, from playing really well against 2 heavyweights 2 weeks in a row. I got 8.5 at FanDuel. I know some books are 9, some are even 9.5. But even if you can get 9.5, I just got a feeling Bowling Green is ready to steamroll here. So I have a 1-unit play, Bowling Green. I'm laying 8.5 over Old Dominion.
Yeah, I didn't check this game out at all. As far as that wasn't on my radars.
Well, with Old Dominion, I can't blame you. But I'm just big. Yeah, I think just somebody's looking at the records, they're seeing 1-2 against 0-3, and I don't think they get that. Like, Bowling Green's actually had a pretty solid start to the season despite losing 2 games. So,
yep,
going with Bowling Green here.
All right, my next pick, in honor of Pete's absence, we're going to go to its Michigan Wolverines. They are playing Minnesota. And I got the over 38.5 on this one here. They got the new kid at quarterback. He's going to have another week going there. God, the defense is they're still capable of putting in a stinker as far as that. They did give up 18 points to like Arkansas Central or Arkansas State or one of those teams there. I think the offense will be improved. The tight end is back, number 18. He's always a big target. Cortland Loveland or something like that. Number 18, tall. He's like 6'6", like 250. He'll be a good target down there towards the end zone. I can see, Minnesota's hasn't been impressive, but I think they could get into the teens in scoring. And I think with the new kid at quarterback and the way they're running, I mean, even with the amount they're running the ball, they're still putting up 27, 28 points a game. So I can see the over hitting here at 38.5. I think, according to ESPN, their line actually moves up a little bit. So, but I saw another line where it went down. So I don't know what side of this bet I'm on, placing it a couple of days early. But I saw one went up to 39. I saw one went down to 37. So who knows? But
brave of you. I wouldn't touch this game if I, had somebody else's money. I don't know what to expect out of Michigan's offense. I mean, how many games are you going to throw for 32 yards and come out victorious? I get USC's defense is much improved. Minnesota's isn't bad, but it's not great either. So, yeah, I could see that happen.
I think a 27, 14, 20, something like that.
Something like that. Whenever you got two good defenses, that defense / special teams touchdown is always an interesting play because you can always get that at plus money. If that happens, it wouldn't surprise me here.
No, and he might get one of those scoop and scores, whatever to help. Nice quick score to help at the over there. But yeah, I like the over. Darren, the blue ball.
Okay. So let's start with Duke. Way back when we did our win total preview, I had leaned Duke on the under. And let me just say, I am glad I did not make that bet because Duke actually looks very un-Duke-like. And by that, I mean on the offensive side of the ball. This team, even with Riley Leonard, was never really going to be confused with Oregon anytime soon. But there was some concern about their defense. Delco leaving, Manny Diaz coming in to take over the head coaching duties. He's a defensive-minded coach, and so far it's showing. Duke's only allowing about 14 points a game. They lead the nation in tackles for loss, 46. And offensively, Malik Murphy, the Texas transfer, he's played great. Solid RB1 and Star Thomas, I believe he transferred to Mexico State. And Murphy's got some nice chemistry with Jordan Moore, who's got 24 catches already on the season. They also have 3 other receivers with at least a dozen catches. So, offensively, they've scored at least 26 points in every game so far. They only did that 7 times last year, and they had a 13th game because they did make a bowl. So I really like what Duke's doing offensively as well as maintaining their solid defense. And as much as I like what Duke is doing, I don't know if you watched North Carolina last week, but I'm sure you probably heard about it. Home game against James Madison, who literally everybody left James Madison. It was like, remember like the NFL when the Baltimore Colts packed up and drove to Indianapolis? Yeah, James Madison did that, and they went to the University of Indiana. I mean, James Madison had nothing returning for this season, and they walked into North Carolina, put up a 70 burger on them, including 53 by halftime. Just ugly.
Everybody left that game at halftime.
Apparently, North Carolina's defense never showed up for that game. So this spread here with Duke favored by only 2.5 seemed a little off. Some books are up to 3, but you still can get some 2.5s. First of all, I'll just say this. North Carolina is on their third quarterback, so that certainly doesn't help. They do have a Mario Hampton at running back. That dude is legit. He's closing in on 600 yards already this year, 6 TDs. That dude's a beast. He worries me. I'm not going to lie. But the main thing that concerns me is Mac Brown, after that game, supposedly went into the locker room, offered to step down if he thought that would improve the team's play. So is that motivation? Maybe. Is he seriously considering it? I don't know. Wouldn't blame him. Dude's 73 years old. He's already in the College Football Hall of Fame. I don't know if you can fix this defense in a week, much less for the 2024 season. I get North Carolina has won this game the last 5 years. Maybe that's another reason why the spread is as low as it is. But if you're a Duke senior and you're on the football team, you have not beaten North Carolina. And I have to assume at home, the way Duke's playing, and more importantly, the way North Carolina's defense is playing, I just don't get how Duke doesn't win by at least 3 here. So if you can find the 2.5, take the 2.5. I actually had to pay a little extra juice. I was like minus 112 on this. Some books are 2.5, but they're at 115. Others are right at -3. So first of the year, a 2-unit play. And oddly enough, I have my second one coming up in a little while. Duke laying 2.5 at home, taking care of North Carolina.
Nice. Yeah. Can't fix the defense in a week. I think I said that earlier this year. So
you did say that.
Yeah. Different team. Crap. Well, we're going to move on to my last pick of the week. Pete's not here, but
I was going to say, do we always have a week where Ole Miss is somehow being bet on in one way or another?
Well, between Superfan Ray and Pete bet him all the time. I just found myself, this is what I noticed. In their games, they've scored 76, 52, 40, and 52. And the one stat they're behind in, time of possession. So they're not even averaging 30 minutes of time together. So they can put up points a lot. They can put them up quickly. They have a very active defense. I know Kentucky looked very impressive against Georgia. I believe they played last week. They lost by 1. So, I think coming off of that, but going into Mississippi, our buddy Lane Kiffin doesn't seem to like to take his foot off the pedal. So I like Mississippi here to cover. Plain and simple.
What was the spread on that one?
18, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I think 18.5. I forget.
Okay.
But
we'll show it later. We got them all listed somewhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they've been Kentucky offenses. They've had multiple sacks given up. The turnover ratio is +3 in Mississippi's favor for the game. Yeah, I think it's another blowout. Another day at the office for Lane Kiffin.
Probably he wants Jackson Dart to win that Heisman. So nice conference home game. Be a good time to put up some stats.
Yeah, conference opponent to say, oh yeah, we're still here. Don't forget about us, Georgia and Alabama. So
yep.
Moving on, we're blitzing through this year.
Okay, yeah, it's my last one. All right. This is why I like to look at box scores instead of just look at the matchup, the records, the rankings, and make a bet. And Tim, nobody was more familiar with Oklahoma State last year than me. We live and died with them week in and week out. And I'm still mad that they probably took 19 months off my life, but that's neither here nor there. So let's look at what these two teams did last week. All right, let's start with Oak State. They lost 22-19 at home to Utah. Average person looks at that and says, wow, they played a ranked Utah team pretty close. Good deal. I like them. Okay, a few things to take from that game. Cam Rising ended up not playing. So I laid 2.5 for absolutely no reason. Thank God they covered. So they had their backup quarterback, Isaac Wilson, the entire game. They allowed 250 rush yards to Utah. We've always talked about Oklahoma State having a suspect defense. They certainly proved it last Saturday. This game was 22-3 until Oklahoma State got a couple of touchdowns and 2-point conversions with under 6 minutes to go in the game. Alan Bowman, we talked about how he always seems to have that key pick at some point during the game. Well, he had 2. He got benched. He did come back in the fourth quarter to lead the 2 touchdown drives, but that shows you what kind of quarterback he is. Ollie Gordon, only 42 yards on the ground. I don't know what's up with Ollie Gordon this year, man. He has had 4 games where he has just not been anywhere near his form in 2023. They gave up 457 yards on the for the game to Utah with a backup quarterback and only got 285 on their own. They gave up 20 first downs. They only had 11 themselves, and Utah had 3 turnovers. This was still a 19-point game with 6 minutes to go in the game. So why this was only 4.5. Didn't understand it from the Cowboys side. Now you go to Kansas State. They went to BYU, got smoked like 38-9, I think it was. Okay, playing in BYU is not easy with that altitude, first of all. If you look at the box score, BYU had a fumble return touchdown and a 90-yard punt return touchdowns. Those things don't usually happen, much less in the same game. So that little bit fluky there. Kansas State still had more first downs. They outgained BYU by 126 yards. The thing was, they had 3 turnovers, didn't force any. And 31 points from BYU came in like a 6.5-minute span, end of the second quarter and beginning of the third. And the other thing, not a trends guy, but I thought this was interesting. After a road conference loss, Kansas State 7-3 against the spread. So head coach Chris Kleiman gets his teams rebounded pretty quick. I hate saying it because I was all on OSU last year, but they're just right now not good offensively. They are sure as hell not good defensively. And I just think Kansas State at home, I got 4.5. It's 5 in some places. Take it up to 6. This is another 2-unit play for me. I think Kansas State bounces back, wins by double digits here. 2-unit play,
Ooh.
Kansas State minus 4.5 over the Cowboys. It pains me, man. It pains me as much as you betting Miami pains you. Because Oklahoma State brought a lot of credibility to our show last year. I'm not going to lie. So thanks, guys.
Oh, they did.
But, that game where you got blown out by South Alabama and then lost by 42 to UCF, you're still looking like that team. And now you're going on the road to an angry Kansas State squad. Avery Johnson's bounced back. He's going to have a big game. I think it's going to get ugly. And obviously with a 2-unit play, I hope I'm right here. But this is just like 2 box scores that just don't even make any sense. Now these teams are playing each other. I don't get why this spread's not closer to 7. So 2 units, K-State over Oak State.
Yeah, nothing makes sense. This has been a kind of a weird year.
Dude, this has been
to say the least. So it's fun.
Only going to get worse. Oh, would you like to discuss Matthew Sluka for a minute? For anybody who may not.
Woo. Get it in writing, kids.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I was trying to think, who do you blame? Do you blame the college for not holding up their end of the deal, whether it was verbal or not? Or do you blame the player for his representation not getting anything in writing? I mean, if you were promised a $100,000 salary and you went to work for 4 months or however long he was there and you got paid 3% of that salary, you'd probably be inclined to leave elsewhere. But you know who I blame for all of this, and you actually have them up on your screen, the NCAA. Because if they somehow put some rules in place, this wouldn't happen. And the running back left, did the same thing that the quarterback did. Bear Alexander, defensive lineman for USC, he did the same thing, I guess, late last night or early this morning. It's not going to stop until the NCAA does something. And so I blame them. I just blame all around.
I think this whole thing is this, even with the new playoff system, it's be careful what you wish for, right? Because when they first started all this, I thought it was all NIL. So if a kid wants to sell his jersey, sign it and sell it, he can do that. He won't be suspended. If he needs money, he wants to go sign autographs in a mall somewhere or get a sponsorship with a local car dealership or do whatever he wants. I thought it was something like that. And now it's just like, hey, let's get money and just give these kids money to come. Like University of Tennessee, they added a 10% talent fee.
Oh, I read that.
To their tickets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here it comes.
It's getting bad.
So, well, college football doesn't care because the
NCAA doesn't care.
Yeah, they don't, because they're not paying the kids. It's not them. They're still getting all their money, and someone else is paying the kids.
Yeah. Well, when you have 45 coaches that quit, it went from like 23 to 30 this past season. That number is just going to keep going up and up. That's why Saban left. He basically was like, I don't want to be a salesman and try and convince my players to stay. Most of them are going to go where the money is. So whatever.
Which does favor schools like Alabama. Alabama's been around forever. Yeah. And the teams in Texas, they got all that oil money. I mean, I'm surprised Arkansas doesn't have more because isn't the Walmart family up there?
They probably need to buy out Sam Pittman before too long once they fire him. But they might be saving.
Yeah, so that's another depressing part of college football. Well, let's move on to Pete's picks. We can put ours up here. Or do you want to do the RPO first?
Let's do the RPO first. We'll recap our picks at the end.
All right.
Get our ugly faces out of the way.
Let's do. There we go.
There we go.
Start it off, Darren.
Hot seat game of the week, baby. Last year we focused on Billy Napier. He saved his job for another week by getting a cover and a win. This week we're looking at you, Dave Aranda from Baylor. You've been on the hot seat for a couple years now. Heartbreaking loss to Tim's Colorado Buffaloes last week. Up by 7 with 2 seconds to go. Lost the game. So this spread's actually gone up from 3 to 3.5. So Baylor is getting some love in the market. BYU maybe a little overvalued. We talked about their K-State game last week. I kind of think Baylor. I think Baylor covers here.
Yeah, I'm passing definitely, but I could see that. 3.5 there. Yeah, I can see that going. It's definitely a pass, especially. I
mean, Baylor's stats aren't terrible. DeQuan Finn is doing okay there after transferring from Toledo. The thing is, you lose a game like you lost last week, it all is going to come down on the coach. So I think he's going to have his team ready to roll here. I think they get the cover.
And Virginia Tech, Miami, we already covered. I got
I put that up early because I didn't know you were betting that game.
No biggie.
I agree.
I like it that it went up and I got it at 18 instead of 19.5. So that's always good.
You had 20. Did you say you had 20?
Oh yeah, the Ole Miss game is 18. That's right.
There you go. Okay.
So, Wisconsin, USC. I would lean USC. I just think they're. I mean, that's a hell of a road trip too. So of course they're coming off of a road game. I'm leaning USC, but passing.
Yeah, I'm passing. Tyler Van Dyke out for the year. Got to at least see one game with the new Wisconsin quarterback against an improved USC defense. I can see USC steamrolling here, but until I see the new Wisconsin QB play, I'd avoid this team and any games they're in until I see what's going on.
All right, Notre Dame hosting Louisville. Darren,
I'm just gonna say this. They better not Marcus Freeman this week, because if they lose this one, they can kiss the playoff goodbye, and Pete and I can kiss our Notre Dame winning the national championship future goodbye. Revenge spot here for the Irish, if you believe in that kind of thing. I watched some of the Louisville Georgia Tech game last week. Yeah, they got like a blocked field goal for a touchdown. Georgia Tech was able to move the ball on them, though. I mean, the best unit here is Notre Dame's defense. It's just if Riley Leonard can do anything, and at this point he's done very little. So, defense going to have to carry him. But I wouldn't bet this at all, just because it's the team I support. Notre Dame needs to win. That's it. If they don't, they're done. If they do, they have a shot because Louisville's still a ranked team. Yeah,
I'm not a geography buff. I don't know if that'll be affected by the storm as well. I don't know how close South Bend is to Louisville, but they said the storm should be in Louisville Saturday afternoon. So,
well, Notre Dame runs the ball like no one else, including their quarterback, because apparently he forgot how to throw. So, you know what? Bring the bat there. That might be an advantage for the Irish. So, yeah. Go ahead, Marcus Freeman. Don't screw this up, buddy.
Right. Liberty, Appalachian State.
Avoiding this like the plague.
Yes.
In the preseason, I know we talked about what a huge game this is. Had a group of 5 playoff implications. Liberty just lost, I want to say, their top wide receiver for the year. Offensively, they've yet to put it together. Defensively, they're still not very good. And App State, Crap State, they just look terrible. I mean, your boy Gio rolled into North Carolina, Boone NC, and just smacked the you-know-what out of that, man. I don't know what's up with App State. But I don't even know if this game has playoff implications anymore, because Liberty don't look like they're going undefeated either. So if App State pulls this off, then you can eliminate both those teams from Group of 5 consideration. But I don't know what to expect from either of these squads. I don't
either. I mean, I figure maybe even at home, Appalachian State would be better, but they haven't.
Apparently not.
No, not at all. It's like you would think, But yeah, that's a definite pass for me as well. Oklahoma -2 at Auburn.
Okay, I bet on Auburn last week, and no matter who they had at quarterback, they look like ass. And I know Oklahoma's benching Jackson Arnold. I would avoid. Again, new QB. I don't know who's starting for Auburn. Yeah, God. I maybe an under lean here because both teams have decent defenses and got quarterbacks who apparently cannot move the ball. Well, we don't know if Oklahoma's can move the ball or not, but I don't know what the total is, but I would maybe lean under here, but I wouldn't touch a side in this game at all.
I'm rooting for Oklahoma because I got to overbet for their win total.
Yes, you do.
But I could see them pulling this out, but I'm passing, but leaning Oklahoma. Stanford, ACC power, traveling to Clemson.
Undefeated, baby. Hey, they took
They
it to Syracuse.
Yeah, they
took
did.
it to Syracuse, man. They drove down that field, converted a big fourth down, set up for the game-winning field goal, and nailed it. So I know our boy Jeff not very happy with the orange there. I bet the hook scares me. Clemson's actually look good, much to my chagrin. I'm not a very big Clemson supporter. Stanford may come crashing down to earth here. I think Clemson could cover this. Not betting it, but if I had to pick a side, I would take Clemson here, even with that 21.5.
Yeah, I'd actually lean Stanford just because I like 13 Alamater or Alamater.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
Whatever, yeah. So make a little mental note for fantasy football drafts in a couple of years when he comes out.
There you go.
Ohio State, Michigan State. Oof.
Yeah, I threw this on here not knowing that Pete was still going to be out of the country. His Michigan State win total certainly starting off strong. Oh, as there goes scrolls across the bottom, 5.5. Yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State gets it done here. I don't know if I can still fully trust Will Howard, but you know what? We may not have to. I mean, that dude's got playmakers all over the place. Just turn around, hell, it worked for J.J. McCarthy when he led Michigan to the national title last year. So as long as it stays under 24, I could see the Ohio State defense giving Aiden Childs some issues here. He seems to turn the ball over at least once or twice a week anyway. So I would lean Ohio State, but obviously I also have them at 8-1 to win the whole thing. So money line, just win the game. I don't really. Just don't lose.
Yeah, well, Pete's got the overbet for Michigan State, and obviously he's never going to cheer for Ohio State. I don't think he'd ever bet on them. So.
Yeah.
But I will if it's going to make me money. But I would lean Ohio State. They seem to be having no issues this year. So we got Georgia and Alabama. That's probably the game of the week.
It sure enough is, man. And I would just like to watch this one as a fan, honestly. Yeah, I kind of lean Alabama here. I don't know what to make of Georgia, barely beating Kentucky last week. You can tell that they missed their playmakers, McConkey, Bowers. They don't seem to have found that go-to guy or guys, to help them on, say, like a 3rd and 6 or whatever. And I know, they're looking for revenge. Well, you don't have playmakers. I don't know how much getting revenge is going to factor in here. I could see this going either way, but I lean Bama, but I'm just going to watch this one as a fan. I've already got all my ingredients for my, chicken wings ready to roll. So just going to enjoy that one. No bet here.
If I was running, I'd lean Alabama just because they're at home and everything you said about losing all the players at Georgia.
Yeah.
Arizona and Utah. Oof.
Well, again, if you want to go crazy, bet on Utah because you won't know until the offense takes
coin
the field
toss.
who the hell the quarterback is. I literally must have cursed for like 2.5 straight hours when I saw Cam Rising sitting there on the sideline. So I was like, thanks, buddy. Now you're underdog. I'm laying points like a jackass. But yeah, unless you know who's starting for Utah, good luck. The one thing about Arizona is defensively, they are absolute garbage. I could still see Utah covering this. Obviously, I'd feel better if it was Cam Rising in there. But, no play for Utah just after last week. I can't bet a Utah game again, ever.
Understandable.
Unless they get a new coach and they actually are honest with who the hell's playing. But, avoid.
Okay, before we move on, I do have one I was thinking about adding. I was thinking about pulling the trigger. We mentioned him a little bit ago. My boy Gio. South Alabama is on the road at LSU. When I last checked, I believe they were getting 20.5. If they get 21.5, I'm going to be running to the window here. I'm trying to look for the game here on Hard Rock Bet.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's LSU's defense is not. I mean, they made UCLA look good for a half of football, and then they just lost Harold Perkins, one of their top defensive players for the year.
Oh,
So
hold on, breaking news. Plus 22, if I'm reading that right. South Alabama plus 22, and I just placed a bet, so it's done. So 1 unit bet plays South Alabama plus 22 at LSU.
I'm trying to see. You got 22, you said?
22.
Oh, well, you did better. DraftKings is sitting at 21.5 right now, so good job.
It was right at 20, I believe, like 2 days ago. So yeah, outstanding.
All right. Well, after we sign off here, Gio Lopez for Heisman.
Amen, baby. Amen.
All right, I'm going to add that to your list after we sign off here.
Yeah, let's review our picks.
Yes, let's.
Take it away, Darren.
Well, I'll read mine. You can read yours.
Okay. All
right, Rutgers. Yeah, you get Pete's too. Well, because you bet all his teams. I mean, so the least you can.
Well, that is true. All right, so I picked the over. Michigan, Minnesota. I got the over. I got Mississippi minus 18 over Kentucky, and Miami minus 20 over Virginia Tech. These bets were all placed on Hard Rock Bet down here in Florida. Pete, he did take the under 55.5 Maryland, Indiana. He took the under 47.5 with Louisville and Notre Dame, and Georgia and Bama. He took the under 48.5.
No, he took over.
Over. My bad.
Dude, where are your glasses?
That's why you don't want me to read too much, you know?
Well, it was 6 lines, bro. I handled it. Yeah. I mean, you got 5. All right, so we know you're cut off.
Got a mixer in here, so.
Oh, okay, that's fair. All right, so I also have a Friday night special here, along with Tim's Miami, Florida play. I am laying the 2.5 with the home team, Rutgers over Washington. I just think that travel and a short week is going to be too much for the Huskies. A couple of 2-unit plays, my first 2 of the year, and probably my last 2 because I don't do this that often. Kansas State minus 4.5 over Oklahoma State. To play it up to 6 if you like. I think that's going to be a convincing win for Kansas State. Duke minus 2.5 over North Carolina. Again, some shops are at 3. Some still do have 2.5 with a little bit of juice. Again, North Carolina's defense. I don't even know. If they step up and win, so be it. But I just don't see those problems being fixed in 7 days. And Old Dominion, maybe they'll punt another 8 times. I still like the way Bowling Green's playing. This is up to 9 or 9.5 in some places. But I was fortunate to get 8.5 at FanDuel. Bowling Green minus 8.5 over Old Dominion, just 1 unit there.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We want to thank you all for listening. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. We are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter at Target Wins, and you can always email us at cfbdudes@yahoo.com. This has been week 5 preview for Targeting Winners. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.